Hello, and welcome to Sports by Compian. I'm your host, Stephen Compian, and I'm once again joined by my co-host, Corey Compian. How the hell are you, sir?
Doing fantastic. Had a fabulous day at work where I was crazy productive. Just wandered through the fields of my enemy, lopping off heads like the champion I am. And I
Why
did a
don't they...
fabulous chest day workout. It was just a winning day all around, Just tons of victories.
I don't see why they wouldn't try to stop you if you're just, wandering around their own fields, lopping off their heads. It seems, dangerous for them. It's like they should
No,
probably
no,
address it.
they were okay with it. They're just like, oh no, he's in here killing us. Oh no.
Well,
And,
I guess...
that's how I like my work days to go. Just, crushing defeats for the enemy and victorious victories for me.
I mean, that sounds pretty great. Sounds awesome.
That's what I'm here for.
Corey, we have the NFL draft tomorrow as of this recording, which we may or may not release all of our episodes on today as well. So get excited for all the releasing of the episodes. Maybe, potentially.
Yep,
Could happen.
backlog of several months.
That's right.
All coming into the world.
All at once. Sports Compian is making their debut, and we're not even letting you know here until, I guess this is theoretically episode 7, but it's technically episode 6. So it's very confusing for you fans, and we like it that way. That's how we like to keep it going. This is a very vague show where you will get vague information about a game that may or may not have happened in a random rugby league, hockey league, MMA league, or football league. We cover a variety of different things here, but mostly vague information that you can't really count on to be correct or up to date. Isn't that correct, Corey?
Yeah, we encourage you to look up these topics on your own. Because
Correct.
Then you'll hear about it, you're like, whoa, that sounds super cool. And
Pretty
then you
much.
Can, go look it up, and then maybe we'll be correct, and you'll be like, those
Yeah.
guys were spot on, or we'll be super wrong. And you
Really
guys
wrong.
Fucking idiots.
You'd be like, these guys were terrible. They have no idea what they were even talking about. And
True, we don't.
absolutely true. There's very little research done here. For example, the game I was going to research to talk about today, Corey, we have the first half notes. And then the second half notes never came. So you guys are going to get to know about an awesome French league rugby game that took place today. I'm going to give you some pointers and some information about it. You're not going to know what happened until the next episode. In other words, you're going to have to tune in next week to find out the exciting conclusion of the rugby game we're about to talk about, Corey. Isn't that exciting?
Which, to be clear, we have no release schedule. Maybe next week, maybe 2 days from now.
This
maybe
is correct.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, but it's maybe 1 week our time, maybe 10 weeks your time. Who knows, fans?
We're not big on the professionality.
No, we're not really big on having any standards to live up to here, alright? But Corey, before we get into this episode, I did want to call out a recurring non-sponsor sponsor, and that is Dum Dum Pops, Corey. They have been there producing their terrible candy for very many years now, let me say. No gum inside of those lollipops, Corey. You're mostly just having a flavorful lollipop of whichever one they choose. Furthermore, Corey, they have an excellent blueberry flavor, which I personally enjoy. But you kind of got to be on that job for a while. And, then you are caught with some, honey cone or, root beer flavor. Pretty sad, for the kids. But that's why I always recommend staying on your blueberry Dum Dum Pops. And that's all I have to say about that. Now, on to some great news, guys. We're going to do a little bit of draft coverage here. As of the time of this recording, the draft is tomorrow. And that is draft 2022, not the 2021 draft, not the 2022 draft. The 2021 or 2020 draft.
23.
Or the 23 draft either, Corey. So, this is the 22 draft that we're talking about. So, the number one prospects out there. Couple different guys people are looking at. Kayvon Thibodeau. I think I got that name right. Holy cow. And that is a big old Oregon defensive end who was projected to be the number one draft pick for a while there. But then some things have come out about his character, and it's kind of strange. It's not necessarily, it's a lot of different things. So, he's maybe been recorded as saying that there's nothing an NFL coach can teach him. Of course, that's pretty alarming, seeing as he's a rookie. So I think that's why some people were a little turned off about his attitude. And he's also apparently really into MTFs. He's all about those things. He thinks they're the coolest thing ever.
NFTs, you mean?
That's what I meant to say, yes. He's not the only guy, though. I mean, we are seeing, some other players, take their contract in Bitcoin or whatever, which I think is kind of weird. I don't understand why you wouldn't just get the money and then just go buy Bitcoin yourself. But one of those guys had negotiated his contract to get like a huge portion of it in Bitcoin. So these NFL guys love it. You know, apparently this dude coming in from college, all about the NFTs. Good for him. Then the other prospect that's been being talked about for a long time was the other locked-in one was Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan. Had about 12 sacks last year for Michigan. A big part of why they were even in the Final Four. I was watching a little film on YouTube before getting on for this. He did get a little bit dominated by the Georgia competition, but those are some big boys, Corey. It's hard to blame them. Just some big old Georgia boys, and they did definitely throw him around a little bit. But for the most part, he is the perfect size, perfect athleticism, quick kid, gets around the edge, plays the run well, high motor, all the things you want out of a number one defensive end. Now, as far as go ahead.
So, kind of a side note here, going to derail us. We got to get back onto this. But so I played my first game at DN recently.
Oh yeah.
And you, having been a DN in college for many a moon, or many a year, I should say, I have hard-hitting questions for you, Steve. So
hit me.
I lined up against this dude who was, for a Tico, he was a big dude.
Big
boy.
He was
taller than me, so he was like 6'6".
Mm-hmm.
He was definitely a hefty boy. Like I'd give him 250 pounds, but not like just fat. It was like he was a powerful man.
Oh, man, that's a bummer.
But this dude was just not interested in hitting me. So like I had contained, so I would kind of just stand up and then kind of go out so that he couldn't grab me, and he would just kind of hang out and like deal with the interior linemen. So then anytime the run would come to my side, I would just like wait for him, shadow him, and then tackle him behind the line because that dude was not coming out to hit me. I wouldn't engage with him because I was like, that dude's bigger than me. I don't wanna. So I would kind of like, I didn't lose any yards because no one really came to hit me. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to hit him, but then I felt like I would just like, if he blocked, I was like basically just allowing him to block me if I'd go hit him. So in your professional opinion, was he fucking up or was I fucking up?
It's hard to know without watching the play, but it sounds like he was a terrible offensive tackle. if you kind of went the whole game and never hit you, it seems like he was probably a pretty bad offensive tackle.
The only time we interacted was whenever I would blitz, and then he would kind of like shove me, and I'd be like, all right, cool, I'm going to talk to your quarterback later.
As a defensive end core, it's called rushing the passer, not a blitz.
I don't know.
Aren't you defensive end?
To go in whenever like they would call my blitz.
Well, then what kind of defensive end? What kind of fucking weird ass offense are you running? Yeah, well, you contain on run plays, and then on quarterback plays, you go rush the passer. Right?
I was always contained unless otherwise told. We do a 5-3. So maybe that's why he was too worried about the other three interior linemen. He just wasn't really interested in talking to me.
5-3, so there'd be 4 other linemen.
Yeah, well, 3 interior, and then me on one outside, and then another dude on the like 2 DNs and 3 middle.
Yeah, but then those 2 guys are supposed to rush whenever it's not a run play.
I don't know, man.
What kind of ridiculous defense are we running over here? What do you mean you guys aren't rushing with it? Was you just stand there and stare at the quarterback and let him throw it? What?
That did happen one time.
What are you talking about, dude?
It's like, hey, buddy, you wanna, like,
no, go fucking kill him.
Back here and throw.
What kind of ridiculous defensive end situation is going on here, Corey? No wonder your defense is trash. You guys aren't rushing the passer? What?
We would have people rushing. It just wasn't me personally.
That's so dumb. That's really dumb. That's super dumb.
I mean, yeah, I would like ask them like, am I supposed to be doing stuff? And they're like, not really, man. Kind of just hang out. And I was like, all right, cool. Like,
sounds like you got trash coaches. Terrible. I can't talk about this anymore. This is ridiculous. We can't let people know that this is what Sports by Compian is all about. Okay, non-rushing defensive ends who stare and watch. I can't. Okay, that is incorrect. Incorrect, Corey. And you know what? I'm gonna back up to my earlier statement and say you guys are both wrong. Okay. You guys were just both wrong, okay? From now on, if they put you in defensive end, go fucking tackle the guy with the ball if it's not a fucking run play, all right? God damn it, dude. Jesus.
But am I just supposed to, like, predict in the cosmos if it's a run
read the play, dude. How long does it take you to read a play? You watch where the ball goes and react accordingly. What are we talking about here?
To be fair, though, like, I played the first quarter of this game at running back, and then it was like 3-hour drive to get out to this field, so only like half of our team showed up. So then whenever our starting D-end went down, they're like, yeah, you're the only guy big enough, get in there. And I was like, all right.
So are you back in Costa Rica, or are you still in the States?
No, well, all right, so this was the last game I had.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, I don't know what to say about that, dude. You got terrible. I really wish I could have showed up to that practice there. It would have been revolutionary for the defensive ends. Like, what? We're supposed to be rushing the quarterback? Oh my god!
You want to get there tackle people? No way!
I can't, dude. I can't. Okay.
I mean, chances are I was doing it wrong because, like, so I had that game, and then the next practice I show up to, my coach is like, all right, you're a DN now. Go coach the other defensive line. I'm like,
what?
I don't know what the fuck to do. And he's like, yeah, you do, man. You wouldn't have had the football IQ to do what you did if, like, you didn't know. And I was like, all right, man. So I show up, I'm like, guys, what drills do we do?
I loved your coach, okay? I'll just say that. God bless his little soul. He's out there like, dude, in a 5-3, I just have my defensive ends contained, bro. That quarterback's going nowhere, dude. Fuck my corners. We're just leaving those guys out there to cover forever if it takes. We don't care. Like, fuck those secondary losers, dude.
That's what we got a safety for. He's got him.
That's not how that works, just so you know. It doesn't mean you can just let them go in coverage for like 10 seconds. Expect them to stay in coverage like 10 seconds and just be okay.
I mean, I feel like our middle dudes were getting in there and doing the Lord's work. I'm pretty sure it was just me that was kind of hanging out and being confused.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, no. In the future, Corey, your job is always to look for the ball and hurt somebody when you're on defense. And just in case anybody out there who's playing defense needs to hear this, your job is to hurt the person with the ball. Well, not hurt them. Your job is to tackle the person with the ball, for the most part. So don't go running off like crazy defensive ends and don't have contain and like you lose back in contain. Don't do that. But fucking go get the ball. And on a passing play, for sure rush the quarterback unless you're supposed to be one of those rushing plays where you're like taking out the D-line. You're supposed to be in charge. Okay, so let me back up here. Some defenses run as a 3-4, which means you got 3 interior linemen, and they're usually going to be lined up inside of the tackle as a defensive end. You're going to be like in a 3 and a 5 technique, which means you're not like way outside of outside of that offensive tackle. Because your job is more so to fill up those gaps, sometimes take on 2 blockers, and a lot of times they even want you to like press down and hit the guard so that he can't go out and go hit your linebacker. Those 3 linemen taking all those sacrifices, getting double blocked, trying to block the old lineman, that allows your linebackers to play free football. They can run around without having any nasty offensive linemen oppress their way of life, and they can run around and tackle running backs, tackle quarterbacks. It's good times for them. But from what it sounds like, you're running a 5-3, which is 5 down linemen, and those 5 linemen should just be in attack mode for the most part. Like, I can't imagine you guys are running any kind of special defense down there in Costa Rica. So, yeah, for the most part, guys, look at the type of defense you're running if you're a defensive end or a defensive tackle, whatever it is. I'm sure you know if you have certain duties, but for the most part, go get the guy with the ball. So yeah, Corey, that was what we were talking about there. That was Aiden Hutchinson. He is, a number 1 prospect as well at quarter. So either one of those 2 guys could go.
Aiden Hutchinson and who else? Because Aiden Hutchinson is who I keep hearing is going to be number 1. Who is the other dude?
Well, it was supposed to be Kayvon Thibodeau before, but now he's definitely fallen off most draft boards as the number 1 pick because of this whole I don't have anything to learn from the coach stuff. So, yeah, a little alarming for my boy over there. And then there's Trayvon Walker's getting talked about as being a number 1 pick as well. The guy out of Georgia, really fast off the line linebacker who can also rush the passer. Is good in coverage against tight ends and running backs. This is all according to Jeremiah. I was just reading his report. So another very good player. They have Darius, I believe. I have there in Georgia as well. Also a huge ass defensive tackle. This guy's not going to go first overall, but he is probably the first defensive tackle off the board. Just an absolute mammoth. There's also a kid out of Purdue, a defensive end. I want to kind of cover the defensive ends because that's sort of what I know. This guy out of Purdue, probably not the number 1 pick once again, but, high energy guy. Let me see what his name was. I have it pulled up here. Nope, I lost that page. Once again, vague information here from Sports by Compian, correct? Or very vague information, but yes, Purdue defensive end looking really great. There was another one I want to talk about, Florida State defensive end Jermaine Johnson. Now, the cool thing with this guy is, did you ever watch that series, Last Chance U, Corey, on Netflix?
I did.
He was on there. There was a season, Independence, Kansas, the first season with Coach Brown. Did you see that one?
I don't think so.
So you just saw the first coach, the guy who was in Georgia, I guess, like the red team.
I saw the first dude, and then I saw the one where they had green jerseys and.
That was the third season. That's the third season or the third team. So in between the red team and the green team, there was a blue team, and they were called Independent Kansas, which had a great character. Brown is a coach. What was his first name? Who cares? Coach Brown, great character. Everyone knows who I'm talking about. Awesome. Told a German kid that he's his next Hitler. It was a real gem of a dude. And that's how he ended up losing the job and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess you can't tell people they're gonna be Hitler.
I guess not. Well, no, he told him that I'm his. Okay, so like he was yelling at him on the field like, I'm your new Hitler.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Maybe not whenever you're gonna be on a Netflix series.
He's a savage, dude.
Yourself, champ.
He grew up. He's from Compton. He doesn't care. He's a savage. But anyway, on his team was Jermaine Johnson, and so Jermaine Johnson was in community. This is basically like a community college sort of thing. But while the show's going on, all these guys are doing dumb shit. Like one of his teammates was caught stealing, got thrown off campus, and just doing dumb football kid shit. While all that's going on, my man Jermaine is just locked in, not even talking to the camera. There wasn't really any interviews with him. If there was, it was like a very mild, like, hey, yeah, I'm here to play football. But basically just a smart kid. First game, gets a sack, gets his team into it, gets their momentum all going and such. And I just thought it was cool that he had come from Last Chance U, And then he transfers to Georgia, does all right. I think he had struggled to get on the field his junior and sophomore year, so then he ended up transferring to Florida State his last year and ended up with like 12 sacks or something for the Seminoles. So huge season for him over there, and he was like really low on the draft board, so there was actually a chance the Buccaneers might have gotten him. Ever since the draft, season has progressed, he has been shooting up the boards, not only because of his performance at the Senior Bowl, but he's also a great interview. He could be going as early as 10, So, Jermaine Johnson will probably be off the board pretty quickly. Trayvon Walker, like I said, will be off the board quickly. Aiden Hutchinson. Kevin Thibodeau, I bet someone's going to take him, even if he doesn't think there's anything they could coach him about. So, some pretty decent defensive ends coming out of this class. We've talked about it before with our boy Pickett over there from New Jersey. He's actually from Tom's River. Isn't that funny?
Wild.
Yeah. But apparently, Small Hand Pickett, he might be up there. But I think at this point, a lot of people are talking that Malik Willis out of Liberty University is probably going to end up passing him and probably end up being the number one quarterback. A pretty fast scrambler type of quarterback. So I think in a class sort of divulge of like a real standout, hey, this guy's the next, Peyton Manning type of class. I think they're like, all right, well, let me go for the super athletic dude, and maybe we could teach him what he needs to know. Is I think what they're thinking there, Core. Well, what do you reckon?
So I'm just kind of looking at this. I found this first 32 picks, like the first round picks.
Yeah.
And it's so few quarterbacks projected to go in the first round. Like,
I'm telling you.
How previous years it's always like, everyone, we need these quarterbacks. Everyone's gonna do. Who's gonna grab this guy first? And like it's all about the quarterbacks. Look at this year. And I was like, hey, I don't know if these quarterbacks are bad or if these other players are just way better, and that's why they're focusing on that. Like, well, it's
just so crazy, like the variation of talent from year to year. Like, if you look at the draft class of 2012, which had, at the top of the class, Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin, who were the first two picks off the board. And then, like, deeper into the round, Russell... Here it is. I found it. Okay, I was looking for it from on Reddit. Someone posted it here. So, that 2012 draft had Russell Wilson, who ended up going super late in the draft, he currently has 37,000 passing yards. Kirk Cousins, who went in the third round or second round of that draft, he currently has 32,000 passing yards. Ryan Tannehill was in that draft, also went in the first round. He has 30,000 passing yards. And then Andrew Luck, who ended up retiring very, very early, had 23,000 passing yards. And then Nick Foles, also a little gem in that draft class, bounced around the league a lot, won a Super Bowl. Big Dick Nick, you may have heard of him.
Big Dick Nick.
14,000 passing yards. Now, you ready for this? The following year, the Buccaneers actually had the pleasure of drafting Mr. Mike Glennon. He has 7,000 passing yards right now. The next person on this list is Geno Smith. Maybe you remember him. Jets legend. Geno Smith has 6,900 passing yards. And then it really falls off from there because we got E.J. Manuel as the next guy. I don't know if he's still in the league. 3,700. Then we got Matt Barkley, who I'm pretty sure is not in the league. 2,600. And then here at the very bottom, we got Landry Jones, who I'm, once again, vague information, but pretty sure he's not in the league, with 1,000 yards, career yards passing. So that just shows you the drop-off in talent sometimes at quarterback from year to year. You'd never freaking know what you're getting, but I think this has been, I remember that 2013 draft, and I think there was a lot of people saying, not a lot of great quarterbacks in here. So I'm not, not to shit on any of these 2022 prospects. We don't know. Maybe they're decent guys, but doesn't seem to be a lot of winners coming out.
So if you had, say, someone who was maybe a later pick in a previous year, like Dak, who got picked in the, I think he was like fourth rounder in the year he got picked, or like Russell Wilson, you said was really late rounder. Like obviously now we see them as like being great quarterbacks, or even the dude last year, Mills from the Texans, who got picked late. Do you think they would be like first rounders if they were coming out this year, or do you think like there would just no one was high on them ever?
Hard to say, man. I think evaluators do get a lot of these right. Like there's a reason a lot of the talent comes in the first couple rounds, and you don't hear about a lot of these late round guys really making an impact in the NFL, because evaluators kind of know what they're looking at. But every once in a while, you're missing a guy with the intangibles, but not that often. Not often you're going to find a Russell Wilson in the third round,
Right.
Anyway, Corey, let's cover this amazing French League game that I found. So it was about 5 minutes in, I realized that this was a French League. I was like, what is this league? It was pretty exciting, man. We had La Rochelle versus Bronx Bagels. So La Rochelle was the home team, and they had quite the crowd there supporting them, man. Like it was a loud stadium. The game was very exciting. Lots of back and forth. I think you got a lot of this is I think a pretty decent paying league, from what I could gather. So I don't think it's like as high as the New Zealand league, obviously, but I think they get a lot of good players in this league because they pay pretty decent. So some excellent stellar defenses played for these first 12 minutes. So it was absolutely no points for 12 minutes. It was just back and forth kicking, back and forth tackling. At 10 minutes, though, the scrum the 10 for La Rochelle gets a beautiful kick out. Oh, wait, was this no, so it was the Bronx. It was the number 10 for the Bronx Bengals, who I'll just refer to as Bengals for the rest of this. The Bengals had an excellent kick out. Basically, Corey, whenever you're behind your own 22, I forget the exact rule on this, but basically he kicked the ball and it went out of bounds on their sideline, and it counted. I think it's because it touched them, or maybe because he was behind his own 22. He was able to kick it, and since it went out of bounds, they get the ball there and out of line out. Does that make sense, what I just said?
Yeah, so he kicks it, it goes out of bounds. So he kicks it so far behind his line into their field, so they get the ball over there.
Correct. The Bengals do. The Bengals,
right.
Even he's the one who kicked it, and they got it. So they get the ball very close to, like, in the 25 or so. And then they basically got the advantage. They started attacking the perimeter, brought it back to a stoppage because of I think they kind of weren't releasing or something like that. Basically got a penalty kick, so they were kicked through the first 3 points of the game. So they basically got a line out, got tackled a whole bunch, penalty was called, they kicked a field goal basically. At minute 18, La Rochelle responded by winning a scrum over Bulldogs in their own territory. And so they got to a maul, and then they tried to ground and pound it for a little while, but they ended up losing the ball within the 20 because it was just great support, great counter rucks by the Bengals, and they eventually got the ball back within their own 20. So good for them. kept Rochelle from tying up the game. At minute 23, a bad line out over the head of one of the Rochelle players. So then the Bengals get the ball there. Rochelle gets the ball off of a penalty though at minute 25. And this was crazy, dude. So what happened was La Rochelle, I think the Bengals ended up kicking it back over to the Rochelle territory. Rochelle comes flying forward attacking, and they got one guy just kind of flying over there. You just see out of the corner of your eye one of his teammates just get absolutely clobbered, but you don't really, think about it until like a little while later they bring it back and they watch the replay, dude. And the number 8 literally just fucking destroys the teammate of the dude carrying the ball. So this guy doesn't even have the ball and just gets absolutely destroyed by their number 8. Like, dude, he didn't try to rap, he didn't do shit. He just fucking shouldered and killed the guy. So yeah, that number 8 ate a red card at fucking minute 25.
How long are these games?
To 80 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was in the first half. He put his team down 14-15, dude. And the guy just did not look remorseful. And the coach was like, giving him a high five. He kind of was walking around like slapping hands with like the teammates. Like, what the fuck is going on here, dude? You just fucking put your team down 14-15. What are you happy about? It's like apparently only a second start for him. And like the commentator was talking about how he just came from somewhere else. So I don't know if he was in one of the higher leagues maybe and just was doing dumb shit like that, so he eventually lost his job. But this was pretty embarrassing. This was pretty ridiculous, dude. I don't know what the fuck the guy was doing.
Like a rivalry between these dudes where they just hate that dude for some reason?
I don't think so. I mean maybe, but I mean it was the dude's
like,
second.
Yeah, good job, you murdered that guy. Like,
He might have just been being supportive and might be reading into it too much. Who knows? But they missed a kick off of that because they did get a kick for that penalty. Ended up missing it. So then Rochelle loses a scrum inside the 10. The Bengals kick the ball out. So and get another kick. It was interesting. Despite the Bengals being down a player, they actually really held their own in this first half and even managed to kind of kick the ball back and forth a couple times and get into range enough times that they continued to kick another field goal. Rochelle got another field goal as well off of a penalty, but the Bengals ended up going into halftime up 6-3. The next episode where we will know the exciting conclusion of what will happen in this game between the Bengals and La Rochelle. Despite the home team being up a player and being the home team, they are down by 3 points at halftime.
Next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
And yeah, I don't think we really have too many more points to make about that. Other than that, the French League is really cool, dude. It's pretty lit over there. They got they seem like they have a really good fan base. The people were really excited to see the games there. Their rugby is good in general right now. In the last episode I was covering their sevens team that ended up going pretty far in the Singapore round. They represented their French country very well. Their 15s team just did an excellent job. I think they just won Six Nations. So their rugby programs over there are definitely on the up and up right now over in France. So what are your thoughts on the Frenchies over there dominating some rugby core?
I'm pretty sure that most of those dudes on that team speak French.
Hey, you're probably right. I bet some of them do. They actually commented about how the referee was learning French.
No way. Good for him.
Yeah.
They cuss him out.
Yeah, exactly. I did want to shout out Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, this weekend. We are not really a boxing podcast, but we are sort of a impact fighting sort of thing. And he came on the Pat McAfee show. It was freaking hilarious. Talking about jerking off like all the time. Apparently, it really helps with the testosterone. So maybe he's onto something, man. Because the guy's undefeated. So apparently he like jerks off all the fucking time, and like apparently it helps with his endurance. But
whatever it takes.
That's what he was saying, dude. But I mean, the guy's still undefeated. He knocked down another dude, just absolutely mauled him. Apparently, I didn't see the fight or the highlights, but I heard he won yet again. So it might be the last one for him. There's talk he might be headed off into the sunset. regardless, quite an impressive, dominating run there for a guy who I think the only close one was Wilder, and I think he tied him or something. So no one's ever beat the guy. Pretty impressive, huh? Especially at the heavyweight, division. Like holy shit, it's a bad motherfucker right there. Probably not someone I would want to mess with.
I probably wouldn't want to box him.
I wouldn't fight. I wouldn't fight him if you were coming, Corey. If it was me and you versus him, I still wouldn't want to fight him.
Yeah, no, that'd probably be a hard pass for me.
But if we got a third friend, I might consider it. Although we probably would all, dude. Like he could just knock us all out one by one, like with one punch each.
Just like 3 haymakers and roll.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd have to go at him like,
But even if we went all at once.
In a movie style though, like one at a time.
Yeah, well, definitely, absolutely, you can't cheat. Oh yeah, I did want to go ahead and shit on Spider-Man: No Way Home. How's that sound?
Sure, take that, fucking
Dude.
Spider-Man.
No, all right, no, I don't really care. I wish Marvel wasn't so PC, man. Like, so spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen that movie. Anyway, they probably turned not that anyone's listening to this anyway. But Corey, let me just tell you, I rented that movie recently, watched it. The whole plot of the freaking movie is him trying to save Spider-Man villains who died in a parallel fucking universe to his. You remember the first Spider-Man movies? Remember, like, Green Goblin?
Yeah, the first two.
And then, like, the dude with the octopus arms? The whole fucking premise of the goddamn movie, Corey, is him trying to save those idiots' lives. Just ridiculous, dude. It's just, oh my god. Like, where's the Punisher when you need him? What are we doing here, guys?
I can't say I've seen it. I also am not,
likely to see it?
Going to see it anytime soon, so...
I mean, there's more to watch there, and you know what? Good for them. I thought Green Goblin had some great points throughout that whole show. But Corey, we are out of time here. I do have to run off and go convene with the Golden Boy himself and bask in his wisdom. What minuscule update do you have about the Cowboys via your Instagram? Is there any 30-yard running back that we should know about?
Dude, we've signed no one. Apparently we're going to take like an offensive tackle in the first round. That's cool. We lost our whole line. We should for sure, replenish that. Apparently there's talk of Deebo Samuel's coming to us because he's on the move out of San Francisco. I don't know how we're going to pay him. We have no money, so that doesn't seem like...
He doesn't need money, dude. I think he just wants to play for the love of the game.
I don't know. I don't...
You don't think so?
No updates. It's still bad. It sucked before. It still sucks now.
Well, Corey, that's terrible. But I did want to go ahead and call out our non-sponsor sponsor before we get out of here. Trident. They are the official gum of Stephen Compian and Halo Exteriors, let me tell you. There's lots of Trident floating throughout the work car. Keeps me with an excellent breath. Keeps me smiling and saying hi to the customers and making good friends out there, Corey. You, too, can get Trident just about anywhere. Isn't that lovely?
I'm a big fan of Trident. I believe in that.
Yeah,
my sponsor is actually Skittles.
No way!
They recently did a very long road trip. 5 hours out to Pittsburgh and then 5 hours back.
Oh, yeah.
And I bought a family or a share size Skittles
Ooh.
bag, which I did not share. I kept it all for my greedy self.
Your own self?
And I was greedily munching on Skittles all the way out there and greedily munching on Skittles all the way back. And then I've been back today's Wednesday, I've been back for 3 days. And I've been greedily munching on them for 3 days. And there are still Skittles in this bag. Therefore, the share size is large and in charge. And I'm here for it.
God bless him. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in to Sports by Compian with some vague information about the draft and some vague information about some random French league. And, fuck Spider-Man No Way Home. You guys all have a lovely time.